The deep wrinkles etched into his skin are carved by decades of sun and storms, battles fought and territories crossed. His eyes, though tired, still glimmer with the wisdom of a life lived in the wild. Every step he takes now seems heavier, as if the weight of his past hangs upon him. But even in his aging body, there's an undeniable strength, the strength that has carried him through droughts, through migrations, and through the threats that have challenged his herd over the years. This ancient elephant's herd depends on him. For years, he has led them across treacherous terrain, ensuring their survival. His memory is their map. The water holes they visit during the scorching dry season, the safe paths through predator-infested valleys, all of this knowledge rests with him. But now, the herd senses something has changed. Their leader, once invincible, is showing signs of wear. They follow his lead, yet there's a quiet understanding that the end of an era is near. It's not just the herd that feels the change. The other animals of the savannah, from the predators that watch from the shadows to the birds that circle overhead, seem to know that the giant's reign is coming to a close. There's a silence in the air, a tension that wasn't there before. This isn't just the end of a journey for one elephant. It's the close of a chapter in the life of the savannah itself. The elephant has seen much in his time. He's witnessed the birth of new calves and mourned the loss of those who couldn't survive the harsh realities of the wild. He's faced off against lions, endured the brutality of poachers, and walked through the scars left by human encroachment. Every scar on his body tells a story, a fight for survival, a moment of triumph, a narrow escape from death. But now, the battles are different. His body, once a fortress, has begun to betray him. His muscles ache, his movements are slower, and the once effortless task of finding food and water has become a daily struggle. He can no longer protect the herd with the same ferocity. His tusks, though still formidable, are no longer tools of defense, but burdens that weigh him down. And with each passing day, the ancient elephant knows that his time is running out. The herd, though loyal, is preparing for what comes next. Younger males are beginning to assert themselves, testing their strength against one another, knowing that soon they will have to take the mantle of leadership. The matriarchs, ever wise, guide the calves with an unspoken urgency, as if knowing that the stability of the herd rests on their shoulders now more than ever. And yet, the ancient elephant presses on. He knows that his final days will not be spent in defeat. There is one last journey he must make, one last stand he must take before he can rest. He will lead his herd to the water one last time, ensure their survival for just a little longer before he surrenders to the inevitable. Hey everyone, if you're just like me and also passionate about wildlife and haven't subscribed yet, support our work by subscribing to our channel and leave suggestions for videos you'd like to see. His final journey is not one of weakness, but of strength. The strength to know when it's time to let go. The savannah has been his home, his battlefield, and his sanctuary, and now it will be his resting place. The journey ahead is not just about survival anymore. It's about legacy, about leaving behind a world where his herd can continue without him. As the sun sets on another day, casting long shadows over the dry plains, the ancient elephant stands tall. His body may be weary, but his spirit remains unbroken. This is the last journey of the ancient elephant, a journey that will echo through the savannah long after he is gone. The sun climbs higher in the sky, and with it, the heat becomes unbearable. The herd, once bustling with energy, now moves slowly, conserving what little strength they have left. But they trust their leader. They've followed him for decades, through seasons of plenty and famine alike, and today is no different. Even as his steps falter, the ancient elephant presses on, leading them toward the only water source for miles. But this time, the journey is not just about reaching water. Unbeknownst to the herd, a group of predators has been tracking their movements. Lions, young, hungry, and desperate after a failed hunt, have fixed their gaze on the calves of the herd. They see opportunity in the weariness of the elephants, sensing the weakness in the old leader. They have kept their distance for now, but the moment to strike is approaching. For them, this is more than just a hunt. It's survival. The old elephant knows the savannah better than any of them. His senses may have dulled over the years, but he can feel the presence of danger. His instincts, sharpened by decades of experience, tell him something is wrong. As they approach the waterhole, the landscape seems eerily quiet. There are no birds singing, no other animals drinking. It's as if the whole savannah is holding its breath. Then the first lion emerges from the tall grass. It's a young male, his mane still thin, but full of promise. His eyes lock onto one of the youngest calves, a few meters behind the main group. For a moment, there's a standstill. The air is thick with tension. The calf's mother senses the danger and trumpets a warning call, but it's too late. The lions are already in motion. The herd springs into action, forming a defensive circle around the calves. The ancient elephant takes his place at the front, facing the approaching threat head-on. His body, though frail, is still a formidable barrier between the lions and the young. The lions, however, are relentless. They test the herd's defenses, probing for weaknesses. In his younger days, the old elephant would have charged without hesitation, scattering the lions with sheer force. But now he knows that brute strength alone won't save them. He must rely on strategy, on the herd's cohesion and instinct. The younger bulls join him, trumpeting and stomping the ground to create a show of force. The lions circle, their golden eyes gleaming with determination, but they don't back down. The old elephant trumpets loudly, a sound that echoes across the savannah. It's not just a warning, it's a declaration. He knows this is his last stand, and he's prepared to fight with everything he has left. His tusks, though heavy, gleam in the sunlight, a reminder of his long reign over this land. The lions charge, but the herd holds firm. A tense standoff ensues, with dust rising from the ground as the elephants shift and reposition. For a moment, it seems like the lions might succeed. One of them lunges toward a calf, only to be met with a powerful swipe from the ancient elephant's trunk. The blow sends the lion tumbling backward, dazed but not defeated. The battle is far from over. The sun bears down, and the energy of both the herd and the predators begins to wane. But the ancient elephant knows that time is not on his side. His strength is fading, his legs trembling from the exertion. The younger elephants look to him, waiting for his command. He knows that if they don't act soon, the lions will wear them down. With a final, thunderous trumpet, the old elephant charges. It's not the swift, fearsome charge of his youth, but it's enough to send the lions scattering. The herd follows his lead, pushing forward as one, and the lions retreat, for now. But the battle has taken its toll. As the dust settles, the herd regroups, but their leader lags behind. His breath comes in shallow gasps, his body shaking from the effort. He has fought off the immediate threat, but he knows his time is running out. The waterhole is within sight, but for the first time, he questions whether he'll make it there. His herd, however, remains by his side. The younger elephants stand guard, knowing that their leader has bought them time, if nothing else. The lions may return, but for now, the ancient elephant has won. He has proven once again that even in the face of overwhelming odds, a leader's spirit is what holds the herd together. But as the day turns to dusk, the old elephant knows that this victory has come at a price. His body is failing him, and soon he will have to pass the mantle of leadership to those who have followed him for so long. This is the final battle he will fight, and though he has won today, the journey ahead is uncertain. Night falls across the savannah, and with it comes a quiet calm. The lions have retreated, at least for the moment, but the tension remains. The herd huddles together, their massive bodies forming a protective barrier around the younger members. The stars above flicker faintly, casting a soft glow on the weary figures below. It is a peaceful night, yet the herd feels the weight of change. Their leader, once unstoppable, now stands at the edge of his own limits. The ancient elephant lingers near the back of the group, away from the calves he has protected for so long. His breathing is labored, each inhale taking more effort than the last. He can feel the cold grip of fatigue spreading through his tired muscles, and deep down, he knows that his role as protector is coming to an end. For years he has led them, standing at the forefront of every battle, guiding them through droughts, floods, and migrations. Now he faces the inevitability of time. His once mighty frame, that commanded the respect of every creature that roamed the plains, has begun to falter. The herd senses this shift, but they remain close, as if instinctively trying to draw strength from their leader in his final days. The younger bulls have begun to step up. One in particular, a robust male just entering his prime, keeps a careful watch over the group. His tusks are shorter, his stance not as imposing as the ancient elephant's once was, but he has the energy and the will to take on the mantle of leadership. The old elephant watches from a distance, his eyes half closed but still sharp enough to see the dynamics within his herd changing. The young males are restless. They sense an opportunity, a gap in the chain of command that will soon need to be filled. While they respect the old elephant, they know that nature follows its course, and that soon one of them must take his place. It is the way of the wild. Leaders rise and fall, and the circle continues. The matriarchs too play their part. The eldest among them approaches the ancient elephant, her eyes filled with a deep understanding. She has been by his side for years, through every challenge, and now she stands as a bridge between the past and the future. With a gentle nudge of her trunk, she reassures him that the herd will be cared for. They will survive, just as they always have. But even as she offers this comfort, there is a sadness in her movement. She knows this is goodbye. Throughout the night, the herd remains vigilant, their senses alert to any sounds or movements in the darkness. The threat of predators looms large, but for now, the night passes without incident. The younger bulls stand at the ready, taking turns to keep watch, while the rest of the herd rests, knowing that the journey is far from over. As dawn breaks, the first rays of sunlight stretch across the plains, painting the sky in hues of gold and orange. The herd stirs, preparing for another day of travel. But the ancient elephant remains still, his once unshakable form now burdened with the weight of age. He rises slowly, with great effort, but not without dignity. Even in his weakened state, there is a majesty about him, a presence that reminds the others of the strength he has carried all these years. The younger males move to the front of the herd, testing their newfound authority. They are eager, full of vitality, but they lack the patience and wisdom that only time can provide. Still, the herd begins to follow them, trusting in their instincts. The matriarchs guide the calves, keeping them close, while the older bulls position themselves strategically, ready to defend if necessary. As the group moves forward, the ancient elephant lingers behind. His steps are slower, his vision clouded, but his heart remains with his herd. He watches them move in unison, knowing that they are prepared for what lies ahead. His duty is nearly complete. The waterhole, which once seemed so far away, is now within reach. The herd presses onward, eager to quench their thirst after the long, arduous journey. But the ancient elephant knows that this is as far as he can go. His body can take no more. With one final heavy breath, he stops and looks out over the landscape that has been his home for more than 5 decades. He feels the earth beneath his feet, the same ground he has roamed since he was a calf, and a deep sense of peace settles over him. He has lived a long life, full of challenges and triumphs, and now it is time to rest. The younger elephants, sensing his absence, turn back for a moment. They trumpet softly, a farewell call, acknowledging the end of his reign. The old elephant responds with one last low rumble, a sound that resonates deep within the earth, carrying with it the wisdom and strength of generations. As the herd continues toward the water, the ancient elephant stays behind. His time as leader has come to an end, but his legacy will live on in the strength of those he has guided, in the memory of every step he took across this vast, wild land. The sun now hangs high in the sky, bathing the savannah in a golden light. The herd reaches the waterhole, and for the first time in days, they can rest. The younger males, full of life and vigor, playfully splash the water, while the calves cautiously dip their trunks, learning the ways of survival. The matriarchs stand watch, always alert, always guiding. But the ancient elephant is not with them. He remains where he stopped, his body now still, but his spirit undeniably present. His life was one of leadership, of strength and of wisdom, and now his passing leaves a void that the herd will feel for years to come. Yet, as is the way of the wild, life moves forward. The herd continues without him, because he prepared them for this moment. This is the legacy of a great leader. As the savannah breathes under the midday sun, other creatures begin to approach. The vultures circle high above, sensing the change, while scavengers move quietly through the grass. Nature, in all its rawness, continues its cycle, reclaiming what once belonged to the earth. The younger males have taken over the responsibilities of the herd. They may not have the experience of the ancient elephant, but they have learned from him. They have seen his battles, felt his presence, and now they carry his teachings within them. They will make mistakes, face their own challenges, but the foundation laid by their former leader will guide them through the uncertain days ahead. The matriarchs, too, understand the importance of this moment. They gather the herd, keeping the young ones close, ensuring that the knowledge passed down from generation to generation will not be lost. They trumpet softly, a sound that seems to echo across the plains, paying their respects to the one who led them for so long. In the distance, the wind picks up, carrying with it the familiar scent of the savannah, dry grass, dust, and life. It passes over the herd, over the waterhole, and finally, over the place where the ancient elephant lies. His story, though it has ended, is not forgotten. It is written in the land itself, in the paths he carved through the bush, in the water holes he found, in the survival of every member of his herd. And so, the savannah continues its rhythm. The rains will come, the dry season will return, and with it, new challenges. Predators will hunt, herds will migrate, and the cycle will repeat. But somewhere, in the vastness of this wild place, there will always be traces of the ancient elephant, in the deep footprints left in the earth, in the stories passed down by the matriarchs, and in the strength of the young males who now lead. The legacy of the ancient elephant is not just in the survival of his herd, but in the lessons he imparted: strength, resilience, and the understanding that leadership is not just about power, but about knowing when to let go. His final journey was not one of defeat, but of wisdom. And in that wisdom, he has secured his place in the eternal cycle of life in the savannah. As the day draws to a close, the sun sets once again over the plains. The herd, now safely gathered by the water, rests in the coolness of the evening. The young males, having proven themselves, stand watch over their family, just as their leader once did. They are ready, just as he prepared them to be. The ancient elephant may no longer walk among them, but his presence is felt in every breath of wind, in every step they take. His journey is complete, but his story will continue, told by the land, remembered by the herd, and carried forward by the next generation. If you enjoy these fascinating documentaries about wildlife, don't forget to subscribe and leave a like. Until next time.